UFC pay-per-view event is finally back, and it's a banger of a card from pretty much start to finish. And I'm very excited for this card, and also breaking it down and giving you guys my picks. So, let's get into the first fight of the early prelims, which is Tagir against Clayton, who's undefeated. But that won't matter since Tagir is a part of Team Khabib, and we all know how good those guys can be, no glazing. But this is just true. But it's not even only that, Tagir is the overall better MMA fighter, since he is much better on the feet and will collect the rounds pretty easily since Clayton is a heavy wrestler. So my pick will be Tagir, probably by decision, or maybe a TKO. Moving on to the second fight of the early prelims is Spivac versus Ricky. This will be an easy victory for Spivac. I know he got brutally knocked out by Oliveira, but he was winning that fight until them last seconds of round 3 where he was totally gassed out. But this time, Spivac will come in there more motivated, and knows he can't afford to lose. He will probably win by knockout or a TKO. He is from All Stars Gym in Sweden, where he trains with good fighters like Volkan, Guram, and multiple more, and has also trained with Khamzat. Spivac will be my pick, and a confident one. Next fight is Nakamura against Kogarov. This should be an easy win for Nakamura. Looks like a free win from the UFC in my opinion. Last fight of the early prelims will be Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. I will be going with Dawson personally, but Diego could very much win this fight if the fight stays on the feet a lot. But how I see this fight going is Dawson by decision, since he will be going in there to wrestle, and will probably fight smart. Also, Diego is older, and is close to retiring. Meanwhile, Dawson wants to keep climbing up the rankings, so my pick will be Dawson, but not a very confident pick, but he should still get it done pretty comfortably. Opening up the prelims is Reese versus Dumas, but I believe Dumas is out of the fight, but I would have picked Reese for this fight. So let's move on to the next fight, which is Almeida against Spivac. This is an easy pick for me, and a confident one. I will be going with Almeida since I believe he is one of the best heavyweights inside the UFC, who is a pretty complete fighter. But not only that, he is very fast compared to the other heavyweights, and he is in shape. So Almeida will be my pick. Next is Peyton Talbot against Barcelos. This is just another pretty easy win for Peyton to get. It's obvious that the UFC wants to build him up, but also get him ready for the ranked opponents very soon. I think they should give him a ranked opponent after this win. My pick will be Peyton. Now finally getting into the main card, we will be starting off with Kevin Holland versus Riner. Kevin should win this fight, but he is so inconsistent and unserious to be able to pick him in a fight like this. This is a very hard fight to pick, but I think the safer pick is Riner. But I wouldn't be surprised if any of them won. I would want to see Holland getting the win, but I think Riner will get the win, and therefore, that will be my pick. Next up is Renato Moicano against Dariush. This is another really tough fight to predict, considering Dariush is a good grappler and wrestler who could be in there with Moicano in the grappling realm. And also Moicano isn't really known for knocking people out, so I don't see Dariush getting knocked out. My only problem with picking Dariush is that he is pretty much retired, and will never be in a title picture again. Meanwhile, you have Moicano, who is very hungry for a chance for the title. If Moicano goes in there, hungry and aggressive as usual, then he will win. But I will pick Moicano for this fight actually, just because Dariush has said that he will most likely retire if he loses one more. And that's not a great look and mentality, so my pick will be Moicano. Next up is Hill versus Jiri. You know what, I will actually go with Jamal Hill getting it done. This fight shouldn't go to distance, so I expect a stoppage by either knockout or a TKO. My reason for picking Hill is not anything special. I just think Jiri leaves his chin way to open, and that's a very dangerous move against Hill, who have knockout power. I also think Hill will be going into this fight wanting to shut all the noises around him since his last fight against Ferrer, where he has been turned into a meme. A very 50-50 fight, but I believe Hill will win. Now, into the long-awaited co-event, we have the Battle of the Mountains, Umar versus Morabi, a very exciting fight, where either fighter could win. But I have gone with Umar. I just believe Umar has way many ways to win the fight, compared to Morabi, whose only path to victory is by wrestling, and holding Umar down for 5 straight rounds, which I can't see happening, since Umar is a good wrestler himself and a better grappler, because he goes for finishes when he is on the ground with submissions, and also have better ground and pound. But that's not only it, Umar is also far superior on the feet. He comes from a Muay Thai background and is much better on the feet. He will be keeping the pace of the fight with his striking. We saw what he did to Sandhagen, who is an amazing striker. Umar will be using them kicks a lot in this fight, and will lay more damage, which will lead him to a decision win. Obviously he will be taken down, but Umar will also take Morabi down, and they will exchange a lot in the wrestling realm. But I trust Umar more, even on the ground. He shouldn't have any big problem with getting up after being taken down, so my pick will be Umar. Now for the main event, we have another mountain battle between the two best lightweights, Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan. Will be a competitive and fun fight, where we will see everything from striking to wrestling. But the winner will be Islam. He is just above everyone at lightweight. Arman is very good, and will probably be Islam's hardest fight, but Islam is just better than him everywhere. Better striker, finisher, and even grappler. You could give Arman the wrestling, but Islam did out-wrestle him. In the first fight, I believe Arman only took Islam down 1 time in that fight, maybe 2. Islam will capitalize if Arman makes a mistake and get the finish. But I believe Islam will get the finish in the championship rounds after an exhausting fight. Only way I can see Arman winning this fight is by a head kick knockout, or just a flying overhand out of nowhere. But considering Islam's IQ and game plan, that chance is pretty low. Arman is also very tough, so the fight could end in a decision. But my final pick will be Islam. That's it for this video. Let me know your opinion and prediction. See you in the next one.